Nice.
I know it's hard to be faithful with the lips of an angel. Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
My girl's in the next room.
She is. She's upstairs.
Sometimes.
You wish she was me.
Gulp. Uh-oh. Said the quiet part loud.
Whoops.
Yikes.
Freud would say, a slip.
Yeah. Gulp.
Oh, man, I am back from Japan.
You're back, baby.
Oh, my God.
You seem so zen now.
I am.
Yeah. You seem really calm and fine.
Yeah, I'm not doing all of the things in the last
you're not
3
busier
days.
than you've ever been. Yeah.
I got back and I have a zen-like appreciation of all the work I want to do.
Yeah. I mean, that does seem to be how you focus that energy. Other people would be like, I'm really spiritually fulfilled. And you came back and you're like, the hole inside me's never been bigger.
Yeah. It's a sumo-sized hole.
I know what I need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah. It's never been clearer. I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of revelations.
You just seem energized. We'll put it that way.
Definitely.
Feels like the trip is...
Which is funny, yeah, because I didn't rest at all.
No, but I just mean like spiritually energized.
Yeah,
You seem
renewed,
like
definitely.
you got like some new kind of like get up and go. You got like, you're excited about things. You got some ideas.
I'm got up and getting.
Yeah, cool. And went.
I also moved all my comic books
Oh, shit.
to
The office.
No,
That would be amazing.
That would be very funny.
Yeah.
It's actually not a terrible idea.
I mean, it's not a great idea. You want to put all those fucking boxes in your nice office?
No, it's more of just the fact that I'm like, I've got a lot of space in that office, and I've been
Right.
trying to figure out what to do with it all.
Yeah, just put a bunch of random boxes from your house in there. That'll really make it look nice.
I mean, the trades could go there.
they could, but they're kind of irrelevant.
I know.
to
The
your
problem
job.
is that I'm like going into a midpoint before I actually move into a new place.
Yeah.
And so that, like, I don't,
So where are your comics right now?
at my girlfriend's parents' house.
Oh, they're there right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hope they're going through them all.
No, they're not even there. They're in Hawaii for the next, like, until February.
Boo.
Yeah, so they'll be back and basically have to deal with them for like a week, and then I move. So
Right.
it's fine.
Right.
But I moved them all out of my place, which is easier with another person for sure. And then, it's been, the conversation's definitely been happening about like,
Well, so where do you think these
you
are
got
going
a
to go?
lot of comics, yeah. These seemed like, and I remember I stacked them all together, and I was like, "See, it's not that big." She's like, "This seems more actually," and I was like, "Oh." We put them in like 6 suitcases for just my trades.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Looks like someone's going to be coming into
Yeah,
a bunch of
all
comic
right,
books.
all right. Yeah, that's not happening. I'll burn them before I do that.
In front of me.
We did.
Oh, did you want this one?
Was that with you or with her? I said I wanted to my corpse to be burned on a hunter's funeral with all my comics.
Well, you were saying I should do that.
Yeah, well, that's
Because
right.
I was saying, I forget what I was saying, but I was like, oh, I think in my will right now it just says like I want to be just like buried in the woods, like
Sure.
a tree
Oh,
grow
that's
or
right.
some shit.
Yes.
And
Instead
you were
of
like, you sure you
hunters.
don't want a hunter's funeral? And I like legitimately paused and I was like, do you know?
Or do the
A fucking funeral pyre
or the Viking thing where you shoot an arrow
into a
flaming
boat. I mean, that's a lot. You know what? Years ago, I did have a deal with past guest of the show, Kelly McNeely, that she could shoot the flaming arrow into my.
yeah.
She could send me to Valhalla.
Well, because it's kind of
And I'll honor that. She's the only one that can send me to Valhalla.
because it's like partly Valhalla, but a little bit of you going in a boat going into the elven like.
Well, I mean, Yeah, I don't think they set them on fire to go
Well,
to
no, but
fucking
it's kind of combining
Valinor.
the boats. If you get a boat that kind of looks like that elven boat.
Yeah. Or you just do the waterfall thing, but like in town. Just do like Boromir, but you just go like
Just over the fish ladder.
20 feet down the fucking hydroelectric dam. Just- He's at peace now.
Yeah,
He's
in pieces
in the
now.
turbine.
He's in pieces now.
There's a blackout.
I like that. Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC.
Oh, yeah.
While fielding questions from listeners like you.
That was a blank Czechian gap in the
That's
intro.
exactly what I'm looking for.
That was amazing.
We've got a 5-star review.
Baby.
Finally.
Yeah, you fucking lazy sons of bitches.
Yeah. Number 263, almost to 300. We'll get those episodes one day.
Which, as we know, is meaningless to Richard.
No, it means that it's 46 more than we got now, 47 more than we got now.
It just means it's more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which to me is better.
Do you know what? That is true. That is the biggest endorsement we can get from Richard.
Yeah.
It's, like, it's more.
Yeah, and I like that.
And because, as you know, it will never be enough.
Well, no. God. Yeah, if that isn't a fucking statement.
It's more, but never enough.
Wow. God.
That's on your headstone.
Yeah.
More, but never enough.
What was the headstone thing you wanted to get?
Trapped in Headstone Factory sent
that's
help.
what it was. I want 404. Please report to admin.
Yeah.
Okay, 5-star review from Reddit from Go Speed Racer Go, who gives us the subject review 5 out of 5 must listen and sometimes watch. What? Okay.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I've set up like spy cams for when we record.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit on a cake and fart.
I mean, we would make so much more money than we've made on the podcast so far.
Yeah, I'm really doing.
Maybe we should just sell our bodies.
I mean, I've been saying that for years.
I think I'm coming around.
Hell yeah.
Surely someone wants to watch me like squish a banana with my feet or
Someone
something.
must be. If the women won't, at least the men will.
So I mean, I don't really care who, as long as that money's rolling in.
Hell yeah.
God, doesn't that say something?
I really looked for panty vending machines and never found them.
In Japan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, just here.
Yeah, here. Surprisingly not
You're
around.
just walking around the university campus, be like, where the panties at?
Yeah, where dem panties at?
In the cafeteria?
Yeah.
Like, where do you keep your panties?
Yeah, where the panties at, dough? Everything is in vending machines. Anyways, listen to this to the double this week. As a racer in the Mach 5, nothing bugs me more than boring silence. So this podcast saves me from boredom while telling me that DC has more than 3 characters.
This also proves you didn't listen to the first like 60 episodes, because that was all silence.
And I cut out a lot.
Yeah.
The dynamic duo, fun fact, used to be an unforgettable trio.
Oh, he did listen to the early ones.
Of Richard and the Doc are just the best, period.
No, we're the best, period.
I mean, it is written that way.
We're the best, period.
Yeah, if you're gonna
For 4 days out of the month,
we're all right.
we're great.
I mean,
That's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes those days line up with when we record.
holy shit. The third guy was. They are witty, funny, and podcast winners.
Yeah, baby. We won a podcast.
We are podcast winners.
Not award winners.
No.
We just won a
won
podcast.
That's how we started
There
doing
was a
this.
sweepstakes, and we
Yeah.
got this podcast.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm going to say we draw the short straw.
Yeah. It was actually, it was actually more of like a punishment than a prize.
Yeah. It was like all the donuts in the world.
Yeah.
My favorite was the art episode. Who arted?
No, that's on the Patreon. I think they're talking about the video episode, issue 130, which was the first video episode we did.
That was a good art episode.
A good art episode.
Not like the other art.
Not not the one where everything went wrong. Which we saved. We saved that for the paying customers.
From a certain point of view, some might think that it's the better one. Was much enjoyable. There are so many episodes to listen to, so like you legit can watch an episode a day and still have so much content. Thanks for the fun time. I mean, that's true. We're 406. That's more than one day a year.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how math works.
Holy shit.
I don't know.
That's crazy, actually.
I wonder if we did something for 365.
We did. I think we did. That was the year 1 episode, because I do shit like that.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I'll put little things in there.
I gave
That
up
was
on
the
that stuff
episode
years ago.
That was the episode where we talked about year 1.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's
Because
cute.
I'm fun. I'm a fun, chill guy.
Yeah, as long as there's rules and systems in place.
What's more fun
Yeah.
than knowing what the boundary is?
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, when you put it like that.
See?
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm talking about BDSM.
Yeah, as long as you have consent, everything's fun.
Yes. I mean, yes. I don't know why you said it like that, but like,
Whenever you get consent.
yikes. Hey, why'd the podcast end at episode 406? Richard had some ideas.
Look, and I didn't care who said no.
Jesus. Good Lord.
This episode is all about Aztec.
Yeah, this episode. Yeah.
This episode's all about Quetzalcoatl.
The champion of Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I've wanted to talk about Aztec for a while. Aztec is like a relatively, I would say, minor character.
Is this spelled?
But this is one that I've always liked the idea of Aztec. I liked reading Aztec. Like the had a 10-issue series and was in the Morrison run at JLA and stuff like that. Like I've always liked Aztec, and I just finally was like, it's November. It's my birthday month. I'll pick the themes. Like I don't normally pick the themes, but like no, I waited until now to do Aztec.
Are we gonna get meeted?
What?
Are we gonna meet up for your birthday this year?
Oh. Did you know what? I barely even thought about my birthday.
You never think about your birthday.
No, it's on a Tuesday. Like what?
On a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. I'm turning 36. Who gives a shit? Life's meaningless
You're
anyway.
just a baby.
No one gives a shit. It's fine.
I know, but it's an excuse to eat too much meat.
Yeah, but I've been being good.
I know, so you deserve to be a little bad.
Oh. Yeah, let's put it this way. I'll be having meat of some kind.
Yeah. Wait, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sausage a la me. Is Aztec spelt correctly, or is because it's supposed to be a C, right?
It is supposed to be a C.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it like a technology kind of?
I mean, it is, but it's spelled with a K, I think more so that they could trademark the word. You know what I mean?
Fair.
If you call yourself Aztec, then they're like, well, we own this as a name for like an IP for
Sure.
like
can I just make a general statement right now?
sure.
Slightly related, but not really.
Okay.
If you're gonna write a name of a company and cool is one of the words,
Don't put a K.
stop fucking putting it as a K.
I will say that's one of your number one pet peeves.
I fucking hate it so much.
is people replacing C's with K's.
I fucking hate it so much, and not for the obvious reasons, but really just because it just makes me upset. Because it doesn't come from. Look, you like rules. I like rules within branding and marketing.
Can I tell you mine
Please.
of this thing?
Please.
If you have a business name that is like a plural, don't replace the S with a Z. Like there's a barbershop in town that's like Super Cuts. I fucking hate that shit.
Best Cuts.
But I would love it if it was Bezd Cuts. If they just put the Z in a weird spot,
Yeah,
like
sure.
BEZTCUTS, I'm there.
That's a chaos energy I can appreciate.
That I like.
Yeah,
Then you're a disruptor,
yeah,
which I obviously respect.
Oh, of course. Yeah. But yeah, I can't handle it anymore.
So do you have like already like a visceral dislike of this character? That's like
Kind of.
Aztec, Jesus.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
If they put an H at the end, I'd more prefer it.
Yeah, if it was like Aztec.
Yeah.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, Mexican and fucking technology. Cool.
Sure. Yeah.
It's Mexican, right? Aztecs.
Well, I mean, more than just the contemporary boundaries of Mexico, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, why don't we get into the questions?
All right, let's do it, baby.
From Facebook.
Going to the face in the book, going to the Facebook.
First question comes from the
Can
most.
I just say, I'm really happy to have you back. Like, I actually think last week's episode
was shit.
No, I think last week's episode was actually pretty good. But the weirdest thing in the world was me throwing to myself to do. I was like, we're going to Facebook. And then the guest would just look at me and I'd go and do the face. And go and do the. That was the weirdest shit in the world.
Wasn't it Chicken Matty?
It's Chicken Matty.
So
and
he could have done it.
Well, he did. He jumped in on a couple.
Yeah, right.
But we also had another guest, too.
Oh, yeah.
That both of us respect.
Oh.
And as you know, respect is the antithesis of comedy.
Yeah. It's also the biggest brick wall of this podcast.
I actually liked last week's episode. I know you won't listen, but I thought it was pretty good.
No, but it had nothing to do with the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just a policy.
Yeah, that's just a general policy.
Yeah.
That's one of my SOPs.
Yeah.
This first question comes from the most interesting resident.
Stephen Marion Almagro.
That's right. SMA himself.
Cool.
I actually have a whole
SSSMAA.
I actually have a whole thing where I'm like, don't abbreviate things in the workplace.
Yeah.
It's
I rarely do. There's rare instances.
I actually think it's really offensive and basically exclusionary to like English as a second language.
Yeah, you should just say the thing so that everyone knows what you're talking about.
Baseline, you're excluding people who don't like know all of the industry things that you know. Worst case scenario, you're being like racist because you're basically making it even harder to
The only ones that you should be using are ones that everyone has learned. Like here in this office, if you hear me say,
we're talking about the television network.
You know,
NBC.
if you just like when I say this is what I mean. Unless everyone is in on it, I agree. You shouldn't use it because
also unless that is the name of the business, don't do it.
Well, yeah, I mean that's then that's just the name.
Well,
that's
no,
not what
because
I mean.
like NBC technically stands for something, ABC technically stands for something.
I see what you're saying.
Then sure. But it's like
right.
at this point, the abbreviation actually means the name more
yes,
than the thing.
Yeah, fine.
Then sure.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like SMEs, like that's almost more prevalent than small, medium-sized enterprise.
I agree, but there's also a context to it too. Like, you work at a newspaper, but if you worked at like a business development thing where the expectation is everyone knows what an SME
but especially
is.
in this stupid town where everything's government and everyone's just like YCC, YMT,
Yes.
I
totally agree.
Fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
Stephen Marion Almagro asks.
Yeah, good luck with this episode. Richard's in a fucking mood.
You goddamn right I am. I'm on the highest horse you could find.
Yeah, Aztec got him riled up.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I'm turned in the wrong direction.
Oh, no.
You are the director of a solo Aztec movie. Make a fan cast and synopsis for the film. Okay, so I actually know nothing about Aztec, so we're going to have to start there.
Sure. So, Aztec, this character, he was like raised from birth or very young, trained by this secret group called the Q Society, who then become the Q Foundation.
The Q?
Essentially, well, it's named for Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec feathered serpent god. But basically, the Q Society, the Q Foundation, has this helmet, and inside the helmet is this like crazy advanced technology that contains all the memories and all the knowledge of every past champion that they have had.
A Naboo situation, if you will.
Kind of, but not a voice, just like a computer.
Sure.
Hey,
I'm a computer. Quick downloading.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. He's from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But basically, the helmet is said to have been the actual helmet of Quetzalcoatl, this god. And essentially, they keep training these champions because one day, the shadow god, Tezcatlipoca, is going to come and start Armageddon, basically. And it will be up to the champion of Quetzalcoatl to stop them. And so for generations and generations, they train these people to do this. So Aztec, his name is Uno. Like he doesn't have like a real name. He ends up basically assuming
reverse Uno.
He assumes the name Kurt Falconer.
A very Mexican American name.
Well, he is in no way Mexican.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear about that.
Oh, DC took a Mexican character and made a American guy?
Yeah, you mean the same company that had Mike Maxwell be the white god of Kilimanjaro?
Oh, God, I'll never forget that.
Fucking, but so this the helmet is like super high tech. His suit is powered by this fourth dimensional energy. he's
like no, that's fourth world.
not fourth. Although there is a fourth world connection to Aztec, but we'll talk about it on a different question. But essentially, yeah, he's a very like a high tech hero as opposed to like magic or something. Even though we're talking about gods and
like ancient
and
Mexican
ancient shit,
like,
which is I think kind of cool actually.
Yeah.
So that's the idea of Aztec. Like his helmet has all these like spikes, so it kind of looks like a sun.
Sure.
And his costume is like white and gold with these kind of weird like teal gloves and like
What's the dude's
underoos.
What's the dude's vibe?
The dude's vibe is kind of like maybe a little toned down, but kind of like Castiel, fish out of water.
Oh.
Like I don't understand how real humans act because I was raised to be this champion. And I don't like what is a date? What do we do on a like he kind of has it's socially kind of weird.
I like that.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. Generally a good vibe though, like wants to do right. Isn't like angry aggressive like a Guy Gardner or something like that. Like a generally pretty decent person.
I love that.
Which is great. Sort of co-created by Grant Morrison and Mark Millar and someone else. Tony Harris? I can't remember. Kurt Falconer himself is like a white guy with blonde hair, but we don't have to do this. If we're making an Aztec movie, Uno could be anyone. And probably should be
somebody like yes.
So probably should be someone Latin. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I don't know that I've got someone like queued up though.
Oh, I mean, it's either going to be Diego Luna or Pedro Pascal.
Sure, right.
One of them. I mean, part of me wants Guillermo del Toro. Just make it full Mexican, like
you mean to like make it?
Yeah. Which I love.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I have someone queued up, but my position on it is just make him Mexican.
Yeah.
or
yes.
Or Central American of some persuasion.
Spanish background.
Something vaguely Azteca, like
yes.
That's kind of my position on it, I think.
I fully
Which
agree.
feels like the right one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the like vibe, the story that you want to go for?
So that, like Aztec's big thing is that he's prophesied to eventually have to fight Tezcatlipoca, the shadow god.
Okay.
But there's been generations of it. And so we'll talk about it a bit more in this episode, but there's an interesting idea of like, how do you know when it's time? Like, Aztec Kurt Falconer does end up like sacrificing himself to defeat a thing that he is pretty sure is Tezcatlipoca.
Okay. But he doesn't know.
Is it?
Oh,
how would you know? And
interesting.
When is the moment where it's like, I should do this? Like, you kind of, in a way, it's sort of a different version of like learning how to be a hero, where it's like, I've just been told I would do this at this moment, but I don't know what that moment is. So all I can do is the most heroing I could do at any one time.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I like the idea of a film where maybe around every corner he thinks it's the shadow god. He thinks it's time, but ultimately it's not, and he just has to decide to be a hero and to keep going. And that the best good he could do is to fight little fights in the meantime, not just wait for the big prophecy. Almost, I think where I'm going with this is kind of a version of like the first Wonder Woman movie, and I didn't 100% love that it was Ares. I liked the idea that she was like, it's Ares, and Steve is like, no, like people just do this.
Oh wow.
And then in that movie, like, when she like, there is this kind of thing of like, no, like people start wars. It wasn't that Ares existed that did like. Yes. But there's that kind of idea of like the thing you think you're here to fight is actually not that. It's something else. So you've been told that you have a destiny, but you could do more good in smaller ways, as opposed to saving yourself for this big maybe will happen thing.
Oh, I like that.
You know what I mean?
So,
like to learn to be more of a like day-to-day hero than like, well, no, I got to save my energy, or I got to focus on finding this thing. It's like that thing might never come. So in the meantime, what are you doing for the people around you, and how are you making the world better?
You know, it would be
maybe
dope.
the real shadow god is not putting light into the world at all. You know what I mean? Like,
You know what would be dope is doing like a Blue Beetle and Aztec like duo.
oh, totally.
And then basically, because like I feel like that's a thing that Blue Beetle really understands, which is like fighting for the people around you.
Yeah.
And then so he can really teach Aztec, but Aztec is also like this really capable, like
Yeah.
experienced fighter, which Blue Beetle's not, because like, or at least like Jaime's version.
You're totally right. But the thing that Blue Beetle has is that the human understanding.
Exactly. So I think
Yeah.
they would play off each other really well.
I mean, I love that too.
And tell like a really cool like Mexican American like story, and
I 100% like
yeah,
that.
that's what I want.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And I've decided that the director I actually want is Alfonso Cuarón.
Oh my god, you want the Aztec movie to be one long shot?
Yeah.
yeah. Fucking Children of Men
Yeah.
style.
Gravity,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Done. All right.
Oh no, sorry. I'm thinking of that Inaritu, aren't I?
Well, Children of Men, yeah, is not one. Oh god, what's the one with Michael Keaton, the fucking play?
Oh, Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
another one that's all done one shot.
Yeah.
Fucking love
We're
that
all
shit.
yeah.
But yeah, Gravity, fucking nuts. Children of Men is a great movie.
Children of Men so goddamn good.
Yeah, I really love that. All right, we are leaving Facebook and heading over to Threads.
Threads. Again, so uncomfortable last week to throw that to myself.
Oh, not as bad as Doc scored, I bet.
I bailed.
You fucking coward.
I bailed.
God, who was this other person?
It's just another academic.
That's
and I
not
respect
enough to
brains.
It'd be different if they were like a comic person. but
No.
Just a smarty.
Yeah.
I don't respect them.
You know, it's the only thing I respect.
That's fair. All right. First question and only question from Threads comes from Cryptomite, who asks, as I don't know much, anything, about the character, can you talk about his/her relationships with other heroes? Judging off pictures alone, he looks like he may cross paths with Superman once or twice.
So Aztec had his own series. It was like 10 issues.
You like that?
And I really like it. But, you know, a tactic that you see in a lot of these things when a new character gets their own solo series or something like that is we see these guest drop-ins of bigger characters.
Sure.
And the idea is let's cross-pollinate a little bit. Did you like Green Lantern? Well, he shows up here. Maybe you'll like Aztec.
Sure.
Right? It's to lend a little bit of like star power essentially to the book. So in Aztec's book, he teams up with Green Lantern briefly, which is Kyle Rayner at the time. He teams up with Batman to take on the Joker. Lex Luthor shows up. There's like a few kind of guesty things, but every time he encounters a character, it's interesting. He like doesn't really have to win them over.
Mm-hmm.
Even the thing with Kyle, they basically stop. They go like, we don't have to do the obligatory heroes fight thing.
Oh, interesting.
When Batman comes to town, Batman like compliments Aztec. Aztec's like, thank you for helping me with the Joker. I wouldn't know what to do. And he's like, you were doing just fine. Like, I've fought the Joker tons. You were doing great. You're like, your heart's in the right place. You're
so a character with tech, like Batman's got.
And Batman's like, you're talented, you're skilled, you're trained. That most people aren't. He's like, I work with a bunch of fucking like
That's
amateurs.
awesome.
Batman's like, I respect your shit.
Oh, that's fucking rad.
So it's like it's interesting because I think we're so used to this, like everything has to start contentious, but
Yeah.
almost every hero Aztec meets, they go like, yeah, I fucking love this guy. To the point where like at the end of the 10-issue thing, they're like, welcome to the Justice League.
oh wow.
Yeah, like
They're like, everybody likes you and you're good. Why can't you just be part of this?
exactly. Which is kind of great.
Yeah,
actually.
that's a nice change. It's a breath of fresh air.
It is pretty fresh, actually. So yeah, I mean, now that's the first Aztec. There's a second Aztec in the post Flashpoint era. Her name is Nayeli Constant. She has some encounters with like the Ray and stuff from in the Justice League of America, the Steve Orlando Justice
Sure.
League of America
Yeah.
series. But she also has worked with Wonder Woman. and with Artemis, and it was sort of connected in an arc with them for a bit in the rebirth era of Wonder Woman, which again I think was when Steve Orlando was writing, like was really kind of pushing Aztec, which is great. But no, even there, like good partnership, good relationship. Like if there's a defining characteristic for like the mantle of Aztec, it's that like no, we get along. Like everyone
that.
thinks we're pretty chill. Like we're competent, we're good, we're not a dick. We're like actually like a good team player.
That's awesome.
It's kind of great.
Wow, yeah.
It's weird to like not be like, you won't believe what like go like no, like it's good. It's an interesting energy. I like it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
a nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, let's leave Threads and head over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
I do like that you did that on your own.
Right? Matt did join me for that, but we had the fun like
Delay.
Zoom delay,
Yes.
so it's unintelligible.
Some might say unlistenable. It is for me because I don't. And
Well, no, that's just not listenable.
That's the
not the
podcast.
same as unlistenable. You just choose not to.
Potato,
It's not
tomato.
that you couldn't.
First question from Keegan Steedman. Aztec, like the mythology?
Yeah, so like I said, like the mission of Aztec, the reason that the Q Foundation keeps training people generation after generation to choosing a champion,
Yeah.
is because they are preparing for the return of the shadow god Tezcatlipoca, and
They're waiting for Ragnarok.
and they believe that they have the helmet of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god, the bringer of light or whatever,
Sure.
from Aztec mythology. Now, like interestingly, it's not actually until the Nayeli Constant version of Aztec that we kind of confirm that the Aztec pantheon is real. The weird thing with the original Aztec is that you go, we don't ever really confirm whether or not the helmet is Quetzalcoatl's. We just know it's very advanced.
Oh, wow.
And the suit is powered by fourth dimensional energy or whatever. It's like that could come from fucking anywhere. And the thing we learn about Tezcatlipoca is what they believe to be Tezcatlipoca is an old war machine from the first world,
Wow.
from before, Kirby's fourth world, and called Mageddon.
Okay.
And it's one of those things kind of like the thing we were talking about with Hecate, where like kind of got adopted by a pantheon or whatever. This is like, well, Mageddon showed up and we called it Tezcatlipoca and made it part of this mythology. But you're like, really, in that whole run with Aztec, you go like, are the Aztec gods real?
Oh, wow.
Because all we know is that he has a technology helmet. So that could be aliens. It could be from the fourth world or the first world or something.
Yeah.
And we know that what he calls Tezcatlipoca is Mageddon, a first world war machine.
Oh.
So we go like, is any of this
Real?
actual
Yeah.
Aztec pantheon, or is this total like alien stuff that got adopted or that got like
interesting.
interpreted as gods?
What would you prefer?
I think that's really interesting. Now the thing in DC is like all the pantheons are real.
Sure.
So it's a thing that was kind of interesting about Aztec is like, well, are they?
Because I kind of like that idea.
Other than the fact that it's like, well, how come all the European ones are real and this one's not?
fair,
Like,
yeah.
that's kind of shitty, but I liked the idea of, because it feeds into this thing that I was talking about, like, how do you know your destiny is your destiny? You think that's Tezcatlipoca. You call it Tezcatlipoca, but it's known by another name. It comes from somewhere else. It's not even really a god. It's a machine. So go for it. Fight this thing. Be a hero. But like, how do you know that you don't? Aztec sacrifices himself, blows himself up with his fourth dimensional energy to wound Mageddon.
Wow.
And then Superman ends it. But like, the next day after they beat Mageddon, the real Tezcatlipoca could have shown up.
Mm-hmm.
So you go like, how do you know when it's time for your destiny? And there's something interesting
I like that.
for the character that
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
and that's the thing I liked about that. Now, when you get to the Nayeli Constant one, there's a little retcon where it's like Tezcatlipoca is more or less a god, and then you see how it's manifested in different worlds. You see like one from Earth 6, and you see Mageddon from the old timeline, and you see all these things. So you go, so we kind of retcon that it is more of a god. They go to the 13 heavens, which is in the sphere of the gods, which is the 13 heavens are an Aztec thing.
Sure.
So there, I like the idea of there being actual Aztec gods because I want to explore pantheons that aren't just fucking Western.
Yeah.
But there was some really
That
neat
concept's really
a
interesting.
really
yeah.
neat idea of like how do we interpret things and how do we define belief and what is destiny and like all this kind of shit. Like that was a really cool idea. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit torn about it, but
Afraid? Lying naked on the floor.
yeah, go listen to Ghostfacers. Everything's a crossover. But yeah.
I love that. I think that's a really cool concept. Next question from Jeff Attack, who asks, can you break down Aztec's powers? On a scale from 1 to Flex Mentalo, how Grant Morrison-y is his power set?
So the helmet manifests a whole suit. And like I said, I've said it a couple times, the suit is powered by a fourth dimensional energy. The suit has like rockets in it and shit. It can shoot energy. The helmet has like different visions. It's like activate infrared or whatever. It does all that kind of shit. There's Aztec has like wings as part of his suit, so he can glide and fly and do that kind of stuff. He could absorb energy, shoot energy, do a whole bunch of stuff. The helmet also contains all of the knowledge and all of the skill and everything of every previous champion.
So you're just like building upon each other, or
yes,
yeah,
and
okay.
part of his training is to like get his mind to a place where that doesn't like kill him.
Sure.
There's too much info, you know. At one point, the Lizard King, another person that was trained by the Q Foundation and knew Aztec's father, but wasn't chosen as the champion, takes the helmet and puts it on, and it like destroys him. He like can't handle the knowledge, and it like.
You think that's my real name? I'm the Lizard King.
I am the Lizard King. So I think all that stuff's pretty cool. On a scale of 1 to Flex Mentalo, the Flex Mentalo is very Grant Morrison-y. Like you flex a muscle and reality changes.
Yeah.
Aztec isn't doing that, but Aztec is extremely skilled. He has access to all sorts of information and ability,
But not weird.
but it's not weird. It's pretty. Like, other than, like, what does it mean? What does fourth dimensional energy mean? Other than that, you go, like, okay. It's pretty, like, strength, durability, blah, blah, blah. Like, the powers themselves aren't actually all that insane, you know?
Sure, yeah. I don't think there's anything Morrison-y about him.
I mean, maybe that's the Mark Millar influence or whatever, but, like, also Morrison writing JLA, like, let's set Rock of Ages aside, but for the most part, that's a pretty... like down the line, relatively mainstream Morrison.
Totally.
You know, they're not doing a ton of their craziest shit in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Aztec's actually pretty straightforward. So on a scale of 1 to Flex Mentalo, I think we're talking like a 3.
Totally.
You know, on the weirdness. Yeah.
All right, let's leave Instagram and head on over to Reddit.
Where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
Wow, you really choked on that.
Well, you threw me off.
By going from that to the next.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because you skipped questions.
I don't think I did.
You definitely did.
No, sometimes I delete them if I feel like we've already sort of addressed them.
Well, we didn't address the one of them that I wanted to talk about.
Do you want to ask the question
Yes.
yourself? Okay, then ask it.
But
yourself.
only if you answer it.
Okay.
Okay.
Even though you wanted to talk about it.
Don't worry, I will.
Okay.
Delgado Andrew asks,
Mm-hmm.
I know they usually play this kind of thing fast and loose, but how do fourth world doomsday machines fit into the idea that mythology... Oh, no. No, do you know what? We did talk about this.
God forbid I do my fucking job.
God, I just assumed you were wrong. I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, it can't be that. No, it's the children,
It's the
who,
children
are
who are wrong.
All right.
Well, shit. Yeah, let's go to Reddit where everyone's nice and no one's ever read.
Whoa. Okay. From the first question from Locktaw.
Man, so embarrassing.
Locktaw asks,
Yeah. Lock the taw if you're coming in.
if you're tumming kin.
I don't know. I don't know what it means, but I don't like it.
I was at a family reunion and I tummed some kin.
Jesus. Good Lord.
Could someone with the helmet also have another entity in the same body, much like Parallax and the Spectre in HAL?
Yeah, so the helmet doesn't quite work the way...
It's not a Naboo
It's
situation.
not a Naboo situation. It's not like the Helmet of Fate where there's like someone in there being like, do this.
It's more of like a Matrix. Now I know Kung Fu.
Totally. You're plugged into like the collective knowledge of generations of this hero. By the way, they don't call the hero Aztec.
No.
Like the Q Foundation, like when they show up in that series, they go like, oh, hey, Aztec. They like mock it. It's actually a newspaper in Vanity City.
It's almost like a racist kind of thing.
Well, it's a newspaper in Vanity City that names him Aztec.
Yeah.
They're like, we got to coin it. We'll, like...
What's something Spanish?
I mean, they go like, what's his deal?
And they don't even
whatever.
spell it right.
Well, they do it on purpose, but like they give him the name Aztec. He's just meant to be the champion of Quetzalcoatl. Like he's not supposed to have a name. They look down on him playing superhero. They go, that's a distraction. You're supposed to be getting ready for Tezcatlipoca. And he goes, I
am through this.
I'm in this world. The world has superheroes. Maybe they could help too if they believe in me and want to help. You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting that way too.
I like that.
But yeah, the helmet itself doesn't have like one consciousness. It doesn't even have the consciousness of Quetzalcoatl, who's meant to have been the original like owner of that helmet. It's just a computer, and that he can access sort of psychically, and the suit responds psychically. Now, the one way in which it is a little bit like the Helmet of Fate is that he just keeps the helmet when he puts it on. The suit manifests.
Sure.
But that's like high technology stuff. It's not magic or anything. But yeah, it's a different brain relationship than that. Yeah.
Next question from Diaper Gal Kate, who asks, does this guy even appear in any multiverse/big event? Does he make a significant impact in these events? So
the original Aztec, Kurt Falconer. By the way, he takes that name because he shows up in Vanity City, and a doctor who's supposed to start work at the hospital gets fucking killed in like a bank robbery.
Whoa.
And he just takes his identity.
Like a Martian Manhunter type situation?
Basically, he just takes his identity and goes, I'm Kurt Falconer. I work at the hospital.
Yeah.
And they go like, all right. And then someone's like, the Kurt Falconer I knew was like 2 decades older than that guy. And he's like, shit.
I drink your medical degree.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. He takes the guy's apartment and shit. Like,
wow.
It's a little bit weird. But... so that original Aztec, the big event that they're a part of is called World War III, and it's where this Mageddon machine is coming to Earth. It's the apocalypse. So the thing that this machine does, because it comes from the first world, it comes from Urgrund, and as it approaches, basically it feeds on and amplifies the rage and the chaos in the hearts of people. Mm. So by the time it's approaching Earth, by the time it's there, like literal World War III has broken out. Like the Japanese are invading America. Like countries are fighting. People are fighting. All the supervillains are going after all the superheroes. Like the superheroes are barely keeping stuff contained. Plus, the superheroes themselves are getting, like, agitated and fighting with each other and stuff. It has this sort of, like, Mageddon has this influence to this, like, spiral of kind of bad thoughts and, all this kind of stuff. And so Aztec is, World War III is a JLA arc, and Aztec doesn't show up that much in it until Aztec's like, this is my fucking moment.
Sure.
Superman's been captured by Mageddon. Mageddon is actually like broken Superman. Superman's like, there's no point. It's hopeless. Blah, blah, blah. And Aztec shows up and he goes like, this is what I trained for. This is the reason I exist. And he detonates the fourth dimensional power source in his suit. and it explodes. It's the first time they actually hurt Mageddon, and Batman helps Superman like snap out of it, and Superman finally ends Mageddon. But Aztec sacrifices himself to basically make it happen.
Oh wow.
And it's in a way satisfies his mission to stop Tezcatlipoca, right?
Yeah.
They Mageddon goes by all these other names, the Shadow God and all these kind of things. So that's the big event Aztec's a part of. Otherwise, he shows up a bit in JLA, had his own 10-issue thing, but that's pretty much it. That's the big moment, the big kind of capstone on... Because when he shows up in his series, they're like, Armageddon's like next year. Like the Q Foundation's like, we're pretty sure it's happening next year. Like, how do they know?
Sure.
All that kind of stuff. But that's pretty much where that ends.
Well, that's great to tie into this next question from Eldritch Slut, who asks, do you like characters like this? Characters who get a minor run and then are either killed or not heard from again? I love these type of comics.
I do. And I think the specific piece of it is to give them enough.
Sure.
You know, like, and what I mean by that is, like, I liked a couple of the characters that came out of, like, Dark Knight's Metal. Like, I don't mind Sideways. I think Sideways is interesting, and the Silencer was interesting enough. But really, like, where did those characters go? What did they get up to?
Sure.
We didn't build to a thing where it hinged on Sideways. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe that's because the hope was Sideways would be more than a minor run character. That they would do
Sure.
something else. But I think, you know, in general, I really do like characters like this that kind of come in, make a big impact, and then you kind of go like, oh, I want more of them. You know, like
it's like maybe one day, but
it's like the British TV thing, right? It's like you end it before you're tired of them. You go like, but you kind of go like, no, give me more of that. I really enjoyed it, especially a character who, like we were saying, is like has positive relationships and a good outlook, and like it's such like a rare, weird thing to have this character that's just pretty good.
Yeah.
Has a traumatic background, but doesn't come out of it like, and that's why I hate everything. Like, you just go like, no, I want to do good. I believe in the...
Maybe in like 10 years, you'll get him in like a...
He's like almost immediately like deprogrammed from his cult. He's just like, no, I want to do good things. I'm going to be a superhero too. And they go, no, remember the cult? And he's like, yeah. Like...
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, he's such a weirdly healthy, more or less... You know, he's got some shit, but
but without like affecting the quality of the book, right? Like
it's still
it actually
good.
makes it better.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And so for him to have 10 issues of that to show up in, call it 10, 15 issues of JLA, and then that's it, you go like, well, what the fuck? Where the fuck's Aztec?
I kind of like that. Yeah.
That's great. I fucking love that shit.
That's right.
I like the Nayeli Constant is out there, but we haven't even gotten that much of her as Aztec. So I'm like, when do we get to see Aztec again? Like, in both cases, I'm like, more.
Which is good. That's a great place you want to be.
It's just nice to know that character is out there. You know, I'd always want a little bit more of them, but I do think there's something to be said for giving them a really strong outing and then going, when I've got something for this character again, we'll come back.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to force, you know, 600 issues of a character that I really had this idea for.
Yeah, totally. I love that. All right. Well, that means that we are leaving Reddit and heading over to the Doc Score.
Ooh, baby, it's a Doc Score.
Wow. That's the best you ever
Docs
did.
on the Score, scored on a Doc Score.
That almost feels like you were prepared.
Ooh,
You weren't.
Baby.
But
I was.
it's the best you've ever done, I think.
Nailed it. I was ready.
Uh-huh.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Stop letting them.
I almost called you out again for skipping questions. Then I looked at them and was like, no, we talked about it.
Yes. I do this all the time. If you wouldn't read
I'm just
the
not
questions,
normally looking at
I
the
know.
questions.
I do this all the time. Looking over my fucking shoulder.
I guess you do produce.
Yeah, a little bit.
Interesting.
Here and there, once in a while.
But you know what? You and me, we're not so different.
Yeah, you and I, we're not so different. You have all the answers. I give you the question.
I skip some of the fucking questions.
Yeah, you bullshit some of the answers. I skip some of the questions.
I mean, God.
Not so different.
You know? I think we're going to be all right.
First question comes from Classic Cosmic DM, who asks, which letter in Aztec makes it cooler? The Z or K? Would they have been even better if they were Aztec the way that I want, with a CH?
Yeah, so I mean, you want that. You want
Yes.
it to just say Aztec.
Yes, though it's such a... Is this a 90s character?
Because
to do tech
late
with a
90s,
K,
early
because
2000s.
the K in tech, to mean technology, is such a fucking 90s thing.
It totally is. That's William Shatner's Tech Wars,
That's right.
for those fucking
Yes.
books and shit.
I have some of them. They're bad.
Yeah. Man, I remember Tech Wars.
Yeah.
Um,
But yes, I think...
it's so weird to be in the position where it's like, no, TEK means tech, but like that was, you're right, that was the 90s.
Yes.
You know, it's like
that
is how you do tech.
Yes. that's how
What's
tech is...
Aztec?
That's how tech is due.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool to have both a Z and a K in there.
Yeah.
Although we did both just say that those
It's
were
bad.
letters we hate in other things.
Yes.
But
together it's fine.
But the Z is always in Aztec.
yes, that's
So
true.
the K is the only innovation.
Yeah, I want it
really.
as you tech.
Yeah, that's right.
As one text.
Yeah, I'm simile man.
Yeah.
Aztec.
How would you approach this? As tech.
Like or Aztec.
If or maybe as tech.
Basic.
If this,
Basic.
then tech.
Yeah. BAZIK.
Oh, yeah. Love. Like, that makes me
Fuck yeah.
sick.
It makes you sick? ZIK?
No, it's
Makes me sick. I'm going to be sick.
Oh, no, I just totally zicked. I'm
I'm
gonna
down with the
zick.
sickness.
I'm going to jizz with 2 S's.
And a CH.
Yeah. I'm going to jizz.
Jizz.
Oh, God, I totally jizz. Jizzed all over. Jizzed. Next question.
Yeah.
Multi-Sanchez, who asks, what ties does Aztec have back to Mexico? Is this a case of appropriation? I mean, for fucking white boy it is.
Yeah, I mean, we do see other people that train with the Q Foundation in Aztec series.
Yeah.
And some of them have, like, dark hair. Like, they all look different. They come from all over. But the Q Foundation has also, like, changed over time. Like, whatever started as, you know, being inspired by Aztec belief,
Yes.
over time has become this, like, not like court of owls, but almost kind of like secret society that kind of like, I think Alfred at one point tells Batman that, like, Thomas Wayne got courted by the Q Society one time because they were seeking out people to, like, fund them because they're like, we're trying to stop the end of the world.
Oh, sure.
So they kind of, like, their methods change, the people involved change. Luthor gets involved at one point, all this kind of shit. So, like,
But Quetzalcoatl is Mexican,
it
right?
is, but I
Yeah.
think we're so removed from it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like this. The only reason that I would say the only reason I'd say it's not appropriation
Please, white man.
in universe,
Sure, yeah.
because there's the different level of
Sure.
us reading it.
Sure, yeah.
The reason I'd say it's not appropriation in universe, A, is that they do not use the name Aztec.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a
Right?
champion. Yeah.
And B, it's not like Quetzalcoatl charged this village to defend humanity.
Sure.
It's just these people have it, and then like, you're involved now. You're involved. Like, we just
Sure.
got to stop the end of the world. So regardless of where it's,
Theoretically, it doesn't have. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a Mexican person. Yeah.
well, and because of the setup of, like, is it mythology or
should
is it
be, yeah.
aliens? there's not even like a patron deity that you got to report
Except for it
to.
isn't that, though, I thought.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, there's not even that level where it's like, well, if it's a patron deity, maybe this should be Mexican, or
Sure,
like something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You don't even have that level to it. There's a weird thing, I didn't mention it, but the suit, like the power source can be drained, and it gets replenished like through ritual. So that's the only bit that's like, is it a belief thing?
Yeah,
But for
that's
the most
hard.
part, it's technology.
I think they need to figure
It's
that
a little
shit
weird.
out.
Well, and you never really see how it works. They just say like, we did the ritual and did it.
Oh,
Like
sure.
it's charged or whatever. But
Yeah. Lit some candles, got the lotion out.
yeah, maybe it's a ritual.
Yeah, I was drained.
That's what you call it, a ritual.
I was drained. Now I need to do the ritual.
I need to get my fourth dimensional energy back.
Yeah, I jizzed too hard.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, where was I going with this?
So energy drained.
So that's the reason why I don't think in universe it's appropriation.
Sure.
They don't use the name Aztec, and there's no real specific line of like, we don't even know that it actually was a patron deity. Now, as the reader, we are invoking Quetzalcoatl, Tezcatlipoca. There's like the Q Foundation's thing is like based in Peru or some shit.
Sure.
Like even the newspaper, when they're naming him, they go like, he kind of looks Inca. Or they go like,
Yikes.
is it Inca or Aztec? I don't know. Aztec sounds better. Like
Sure.
everyone is aware. Like enough things are said by different characters that you're like, so we all know what's happening here.
Yeah.
But we still have like a blue-eyed, blonde-haired dude is
Yes.
Aztec.
Yes.
That is,
Not great.
as from that level, it's a little bit of appropriation. In universe, no. In our world, yes, a bit.
And he needs chimichangas to get powered up. That's the ritual.
Oh God. I've prepared the ritual taco for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You're like, oh man.
You hit the bell, right?
Jesus Christ. A branded
Yeah.
superhero. Yeah, so I mean that's my thoughts on it. And like
I need my fourth meal.
and like hang on to that. Stop digging, you hit gold. But I do think, like we were saying in the very first question, is like we know this now though. So if you're gonna go and put Aztec in something, like Kurt Falconer could be anyone. Uno is not that. There's not that many appearances. He's not that. There's very little about him where it's like he has to be blonde. Like there's just
Sure.
just make him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like just change it, and it's totally fine. It doesn't change fucking anything because again, he grows up with the Q Foundation. Like he's not in society.
Yeah,
He's like
yeah.
a total fish out of water. So he could be anyone. So you might as well just make him
Spanish, at
culturally
least, yeah.
appropriate. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Last question from the moral compass of the Doxcord, who asks, what part of the character would you say Grant Morrison created versus Mark Millar?
I mean, that's, I'd say, almost impossible to answer.
Is it? Yeah. Because they both worked on it together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the obvious thing is like the
What
weird,
feels like a Morrison thing?
the
yeah.
weird Tezcatlipoca, Mageddon stuff. That's also in JLA, which is just Morrison without Millar.
Sure. So, yeah. That's
So like that element of it, a fourth dimensional energy, like that all sounds like Morrison to me.
Mhm.
The stuff that sounds like Millar is more like some of the grounded stuff, like fighting these random villains, or the idea of Vanity City, which is supposed to like be shittier than Gotham.
Oh, really?
Um,
That's ironic.
like more violent and not even necessarily more corrupt, but just worse. Like all that stuff kind of feels more like a Millar kind of joint. Because here's the thing: when Aztec first shows up, Vanity City has a superhero. The superhero is called Blood Type, and he's just like a very '90s. He's got pouches and guns.
I'm HIV positive. I'm going to kick your ass.
No. Positive with a Z. P-O-Z.
Don't be so negative.
Jesus Christ. beating up crooks gives me a universal boner.
God, you love making that joke, don't you?
Anyway, but blood type is like a very 90s like anti-hero kind of these guns, be like a bad guy, I just put him down. And Vanity's like, yeah, that's our hero.
Yeah.
When Aztec shows up, blood type kind of accidentally gets killed, basically. And they're like, and again, because of this like kind of positive thing, they're like, oh, we have like a real superhero. Like the people of Vanity are like, oh, he's not just like a killer? Is that a superhero we can get? Because that kind of feels like a Metropolis thing. You're like, we're just in Vanity City, and there's something kind of inspiring about it. But I don't know. Some of that stuff maybe feels like a little bit like Millar. But if I'm being honest, like I don't know. Fair. You know what I mean? But I do think some of like the like this edgy like whatever that element is of Vanity City is probably more Millar, because I feel like Morrison, when they do that stuff, it's even campier.
Sure.
Millar lends it us a little bit of like, it's obviously stupid, but you could see how a city like this might produce a character like this.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So I guess maybe that's how I'd split it up. But
that
really,
makes sense.
Really, like, who knows?
No. All right. Well, that was the last question. We would love to hear from you, residents. Maybe you can send in a question for next week's episode.
Oh, I do know what that is. Vamp.
Oh,
stall for time.
You know what's crazy is that we are nominated for another award,
baby.
We're for all my people of leisure out there. You can vote for the most leisure podcast there is.
If you're a Canadian podcaster, you can go to canpodawards.ca/vote until the 13th of November, and you can cast a vote for us for Outstanding Leisure Series, Outstanding Leisure Suit Series.
Look,
leisure with a Z.
2 awards is cool. You know what's really cool?
More.
3 awards.
And never enough.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fill that hole.
But yeah, you could do that. So next week's episode, we're gonna have a special guest back on. We're talking about the music of DC. So scores, soundtracks, songs that reference superheroes in that. Send your questions about like music of DC.
Who's coming on?
John Spees, baby.
Oh,
it's not Nathan's Carrots.
That's right. Yeah,
it's fucking John Spees.
Fucking right,
baby.
I love that.
Yeah, for this and more vegetable-based punnery, tune in next week.
It's coming.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can send those questions to our various social media platforms.
We're Dr. DC Podcast on the platforms.
And the doc phone is always open.
208-917-3238.
That's 208-917-DCEU if you're nasty.
If you're of the nasty variety.
That's correct. Also, we've got a website for the time being.
DrDCPodcast.com or .ca.
And we 5-star review.
Land the plane, man.
Yep. Why don't you give us a 5-star review like we got today?
Yeah.
We will read it on a future episode.
Yeah, so maybe put a little effort in, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we want that fucking reward.
No, I mean you.
Oh. Yeah, we want that fucking award.
Yeah. But, I mean, to be fair, we are going for leisure this year.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Do whatever you want.
All right.
We're cool, and I'm fine about it.
Yeah, I'm as leisure as it gets.
Yeah, and I'm feeling relaxed.
I can tell. If you want to find out more about my trip to Japan,
yeah, go over to the Patreon, patreon.com/DrDC. There's a $1, $5, $7 level. They all give you access to the Doc Squad, our amazing Discord fan community. And at the higher levels, you get bonus episodes. You get the Double Dose, our weekly episode. And at the highest level, you get bonus podcasts, rewatch podcasts like Toretto Talks or Bonding Time, where my wife and I are going through every James Bond movie. We're into Dalton now, baby.
Look, it's the 7-year itch, and you guys needed to spice it up.
Yeah, so we're just watching movies and podcasting.
What a way to save a relationship.
Ladies.
Nothing gets you more moist than 007.
Yeah, actually, it's not good for the equipment. So
yeah, 007 years of marriage.
Oh, I mean,
I know.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I did have my 7th anniversary.
Yeah. I know. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But if you like that, you might want even more content. It may not win an award, but the numbers don't lie.
I mean,
Ghostfacers.
there's more of them and they care less, but go listen to Ghostfacers, a Supernatural
They
rewatch.
care more in other ways.
Yeah, but I don't care about those.
Yeah.
I want awards. I want recognition.
Sure. Yeah, not just more facts.
I want fame.
Yeah. And I want you to like bloodlet for us.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I want a universal boner.
Boner.
Ghostfacers, a Supernatural rewatch. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We talk about real world monster lore, behind the scenes stuff about the show. We're about halfway into season 8 right now. And our live episode from Fan Expo is finally going to drop next week.
I got to go dig and find that thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for this week. We better go before I chiz.
Chiz in my pants with a Z.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
All the superheroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.